Welcome, and thanks for joining this lecture on the future of work and the macroeconomic implications of automation and AI. Over the next slides, we'll explore how AI could reshape productivity, inequality, and market power, and what choices can steer those forces toward broadly shared prosperity rather than concentrated gains. This slide frames three big outcomes to watch: aggregate productivity, income distribution, and market concentration. What matters most are the underlying determinants: how fast firms adopt AI, whether complementary investments in skills and infrastructure keep pace, and the policy choices we make to shape the resulting economic trajectory. Think of AI as either a general-purpose engine that lifts productivity broadly, or a narrow tool with limited impact. Historical evidence shows payoffs can be delayed because capital, skills, and organizational change lag behind new technology, and without coherent policy, these lags can lock economies into low productivity paths rather than wide benefits. Long-term projections suggest material gains are possible, with sizable initial GDP uplifts if early adoption waves are strong, but marginal gains tend to taper unless new tasks and innovations continue to appear. In short, early adoption matters, and sustaining growth requires continuous task creation and supportive policies to capture lasting benefits. At the firm level, AI mainly automates tasks rather than entire jobs, which often leaves positions intact while changing their content. At the macro level, those task changes can raise overall demand, create new openings, and adjust wages, indicating complementarity between humans and AI rather than pure substitution, though the balance depends on market adjustments. This slide highlights who's most exposed and why. Middle-earning cognitive tasks with routine elements face higher automation risk, while AI assistants often accelerate novices, compressing within occupation wage gaps. Ultimately, whether this leads to wage polarization or broad-based gains depends on corporate sharing of productivity rents and investments in workforce development. There are two plausible scenarios: AI augmentation that reduces wage dispersion if gains are broadly shared, and inaction that leads to rising top income shares if prerequisites aren't met. Policies like shared ownership of productivity rents, portable benefits, and progressive taxation are practical levers that can help guide outcomes toward more equitable growth. The automation divide can widen through patent-level shocks and concentrated capital ownership. When data, cloud capacity, and algorithms funnel returns to a few firms, inequality can amplify. That's why early policy design on data governance and competition matters a lot for long-run equity, because concentrated capital ownership tends to expand the divide. AI's economics create fixed cost barriers. Training large models requires huge budgets, massive data, and compute, favoring firms with enormous resources. Those fixed costs and scale economies can entrench incumbents, reinforcing market advantage unless countered by competition policy or measures that lower entry hurdles for smaller players. Democratizing AI access uses both technology and policy levers. Open source models, smaller fine-tuned systems, and sector-specific clouds can lower technical barriers, while public data trusts, R&D vouchers, and interoperability mandates shape a more competitive landscape. Together, these tools aim to foster mid-size adopters and create a more balanced AI ecosystem. A strategic policy framework rests on three pillars: human capital investment, digital infrastructure and access, and innovation incentives. Rapid reskilling, portable training accounts, and broadband and cloud access ensure SMEs and workers can adopt AI, while R&D tax credits can tilt innovation toward human-centric augmentation and inclusive outcomes. Policy responses should recycle automation rents, address market power, and cushion labor transitions. Progressive taxation or redistribution mechanisms, updated antitrust and data governance to limit monopolistic power, and portable benefits or wage insurance can help ensure that productivity gains translate into resilient, broadly shared growth rather than concentrated wins. There are important measurement and modeling gaps that limit our forecasts. We need real-time measures of task content, better accounting for general equilibrium feedbacks, and clarity on global spillovers through trade and investment. Integrated scenario models that include demographic aging, climate limits, and geopolitical tech blocks can produce more actionable macro forecasts for policy. The key takeaway is that AI's economic destiny is a policy variable, not pre-written. Outcomes depend on coordinated action among governments, firms, and educators, and on essential actions like immediate experimentation and iterative governance. In short, proactive, adaptive policy and broad collaboration will determine whether AI leads to broad-based prosperity or entrenched inequality.